Alright, guys. It's been a little while. Um, Sometime soon. I can't give an exact date because things are kind of hectic at the moment. But I would like to get a live stream going. Um, Lots happened since I haven't been around. Been very busy. But, one thing that I really do want to understand. This is something that I've been working on for years. And I want to understand Trumpism. Like, I'm not even like, obviously, I don't like the guy, but it's not an attempt to throw shade passive aggressively. I honestly want to understand. It doesn't make sense to me, not rationally anyway. Like, the things that I'm constantly told, the things that actual Trump supporters tell me aren't logical because like they're the opposite. Like, for example, like, we need someone who's a great businessman. Trump is not a great businessman. He's bankrupted 4 times to my knowledge. He's an absolute moron. That's a matter of fact. That's not my opinion. He's a moron. So I'm trying to understand. Like, he pretends to be Christian, obviously to pander to Christian nationalist type people. I guess they want like a Christian version of fucking Iran or something, some backward hellhole. But that I can understand. Like, they're wrong because Trump is obviously not Christian. He's a convicted rapist and more than likely a fucking like closet pedophile in league with fucking Jeffrey Epstein. The the data at this point and the connections are like irrefutable. Now I can't claim that he has been caught doing so, but like you have to do some massive mental gymnastics to like act as if he at least didn't know what was going on. Like massive. So you've got a man who, it's strange, like the conservatives in general, the things that they stand for, the things that they talk about, that they care about freedom of speech. Anytime the left says something against like what they believe, they cite freedom of speech and they start crying like little schoolgirls. So, but Trump is like the absolute, he's the antithesis of freedom of speech. He's a fascist. I don't say that like many people throw words out because they just want to attack someone. He is a fascist. By definition, he's a fascist. His his words and what he thinks should happen show that he's a fascist. He recently claimed that my beautiful Christians, if you will just vote, get out, you have to get out there and vote this one time. And after that, you'll never have to vote again. That's fucking Mussolini 101. That is fascism. And this goes back a long, long ways. So that's one thing. You've got, I hear a lot of like, what I like about Trump, he tells it like it is. And I feel that this is like an emotional like feeling thing. Like you got to be a fucking moron because he has lied more than any politician I've ever heard of. Again, that is not my opinion. That's not me. Obviously, I don't like Trump, but that's not me saying it just because I don't like Trump. He has factually told more lies than any politician that I'm aware of. I don't think there's a close second. He like every other word is a lie. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but my point is, he doesn't tell it like it is. He just throws out diarrhea from his mouth, and people are like, yeah! Like, are you fucking morons? Like, how can you claim that you care about truth when the person that you cheerlead for lies more than anyone else? It makes no sense. So you've got the right, who is also hardcore about the Constitution and democracy. You support a man who literally made up a lie because it hurt his narcissistic fucking ego, and said that he actually won an election that he lost. Something that has been proven time and time again. Yet these retarded fucks still believe it. They believe that there's some conspiracy that Donald Trump actually won the previous election, and that it's some sort of like massive fucking political thing that like Biden won, that is like corruption or whatever. Like, this lie led to people being killed during January the 6th. And the point that I kind of wanted to get at with that is the whole, the Constitution, America, democracy. This guy is literally the opposite of what you claim to care about. He's a fascist. He wants to get rid of the Department of Education. We're already, like, if I'm not mistaken, we're like number 22 or so on the world scale, and we're by far the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. There's no excuse for that. That's fucking pathetic. And I believe that actually ties in. Lack of education and lack of just giving a fuck about truth and facts in general is kind of where Trumpism comes in. It's like, without stupidity and ignorance, there is no Trump. He cannot exist. He does not have any base. So of course they want to get rid of that. They want people to be as stupid as possible, because it's the only way in which Trump can be viable. The man has come out and said that he loves some of the most fucked up dictators in the world. Vladimir Putin, fucking Xi Jinping, and North Korea's fucking Kim Jong-un, or whatever. I think it's Un now. Like, I don't make this shit up. These are words that he said. And it's obvious why. Because he is such an egomaniac. He only cares about himself. He doesn't give a fuck about any of the voters, the Christians that he says are beautiful, any of that. He cares about himself only. And if he had his way, and if you actually listen to him and take seriously his words, as you should, you will see how obvious it is. If he had his way, he would be a fucking dictator. Like, if you want that, don't claim that you care about the Constitution, which Trump said the Constitution itself should be thrown out, given the situation in which he made up the lie that he was shit out of his fucking rightful place as the fucking president, because he actually won that election. That is fascism. That is not democracy. That's the opposite of democracy. Like, if you want to live in like a nationalist type place, like a dictatorship that pretends to be democracy, and you're like a hardcore like Christian nationalist or something, just move to Russia or something. That's about the closest thing you have to it. Russia is like about the closest thing you can get to like a theocracy on par with Iran or Saudi Arabia as you can get. If you want that, then fucking quit pretending like you care about America. You're not a patriot. You don't care about democracy and the Constitution. The Constitution is written in such a way that the founding fathers found it extremely important to not include religion directly in the government. Being secular is pretty much as American as America gets. And it doesn't matter. Like, I know many Christians that feel exactly the same way. These are actual, like, true Christians, not dumbass fucking retarded Trumper morons. Like, what I want is for a Trump supporter to come on live and explain their views. Like, it's going to be hilarious because they can't. Not logically. It's like, it's funny because Ben Shapiro says it often, even though he falls for his own shit. But facts don't care about your feelings. You don't change the world because of your subjective feelings. Because you're a fucking corrupt piece of shit. It's just hard for me to wrap my mind around. How do people get this stupid? It amazes me. Secondly, there's a huge portion, like, the right could not ever succeed without poor retards, for lack of a better word. Which makes no sense because they vote against their interests. They're people, and I've said this before, that consider themselves temporarily embarrassed rich people. They think that if they cheerlead for the wealthy elite that are basically the source of every problem we have in this country, if they cheerlead for them and act as if like they're doing everything, that's what it's like to be American, that's great, they're creating jobs, all this bullshit that they say, you're voting against your interest. You end up being some poor right-wing idiot cheerleading into old age, and you have nothing. You have nothing, but you keep holding on to this stupid dream that you're going to become like them. It's not going to happen, and throughout history, it almost never happens. What happens is they embellish and exaggerate and highlight very rare examples of people who get wealthy, right? And then they say, you too can do this. It's not possible. It's literally, when we're talking about the big picture, I'm not talking about you as an individual, although it kind of ties in because I'm talking to more than one person. But my point is, if you look at the big picture, to some extent, finances and the economy in general is a zero-sum game. Not perfectly, but to some extent. You can't make everyone a millionaire. It's not possible. It can't work. It's unsustainable. So what they do is they get a bunch of stupid fucks and they hover the carrot above their fucking nose just out of reach. And they tell them that, like, this is what you gotta do, and you've gotta be on board with the elite in order to ever become an elite. And you just champion our cause. But what they do is you end up dying poor, having nothing, and, like, on your deathbed, you're like, you finally come to a realization. They fucking just, they tricked me my whole life. They made me think that I stood a chance, and that if I just worked hard, if I just, like, cared about their values and, like, preached this stupid bullshit that they always fucking do, and this trickle-down crap and all of that I'm gonna make it. But statistically, almost no one does. That's left or right. So you're hurting yourself by being a moron. You keep yourself in your current situation because the right, I'm not going to say the left doesn't do it because they do, but the right is the pinnacle of the elites. It's the party of the elites. They literally do tax cuts for wealthy people who should be paying their fucking fair share. And instead of complaining about that, you blame poor people. Like, it's hard to imagine being any more stupid than that. So, anyhow, long winded a little bit because there's some things, I don't know, it's like it's venting what I hear and see a lot, especially here in the South. I'm surrounded by morons. And I just want to fucking understand a little better. Like, I'm beginning to think that you yourselves don't know why you feel how you feel. Because there's no logic behind it. It's all feeling, it's all ignorance. So I would like someone to come on and just discuss at length, in depth, why you believe what you believe. Get to the root of it. Thank you for your time.